Welcome back to Eliances Heroes, where heroes in business align. To be part of our super community and find out more about Eliances, visit www.Eliances.com. Now, back to our super host, David Kogan, founder of Eliances.
All right, listeners, listen, you have got to stay tuned the entire show. Crazy things going on. We just had on Joe Beck. Yeah, he was the guy that was struck by lightning twice with the sales activist. Later on, we're going to be having this incredible firm that does VIP accounting, VIPaccountingsolutions.com. And later on, we're going to have a guy who turned $72 into $1 billion empire. You're going to know all his shampoo products, so make sure you stay tuned. But by the way, too, thank you for the feedback we continue to have from when we had the publisher of Forbes magazine on that I interviewed. So make sure you go to Eliances.com. That's Eliances.com. All right. Our next hero, let me tell you, he developed something totally cool. I love it. I have it. I keep it in my refrigerator. I'm eating them now all the time, and I'm addicted to it. All right. We have Will Nitze. He is the founder and CEO of IQBar, and you can reach him at eatiqbar.com. Will, with a gazillion bars that are out there, what made you say, listen, I'm going to create my own, and I'm going to be in a ton of locations?
So that's funny. That's the first thing everyone says to me is why go into such a crowded space. But what I realized is that it's actually quite a homogenous space if you look at from a macro nutritional standpoint. So if you look at all the bars, generally speaking, 95+% are doing the same thing. They're high in carbohydrates. Oftentimes they're high in sugar, and they're aiming to deliver quote unquote energy, but really they're just going to cause you to crash. So while there are many bars, there are very few functionalities within that set. So really no one in late 2017, and really still today other than us, was looking at bars from not just a body standpoint, but a brain standpoint, and looking at how you can create a macro nutritional profile that didn't cause you to crash, that made you feel good, energized, cogent throughout the day, and to mitigate or eliminate that crash that you get from any given garden variety bar.
Now, Will, is this true? Your bars contain brain nutrients? I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's IQBar. Obviously, it's a brain-focused product. That's one of our main points of differentiation. And so what I did was basically I looked at what are all of the nutrients that there is the most scientific backing. It's good for your brain for XYZ reason. Could be mental energy, could be staving off dementia, could be helping grow new neurons, et cetera. And then what are the whole foods that are richest in those compounds? And how do I combine those whole food ingredients into a serving size? So that's how I went about it, and that's resulted in us having things like lion's mane, which is a mushroom extract that really no one else has, because I've taken that unique approach to the category.
Now, the thing is when you're starting a company, especially, again, in one that is such a crowded space, to try to find and get investors in itself is like winning the lottery. Yet, you had early investors in, such as the co-founder of Stacy's Pita Chips, the founder of Be Good, former captain of the Seattle Seahawks, former publisher of the New Yorker. Like, how in the world does that take place? How do you even approach them, get them, and get that momentum going? Because we've got a lot of listeners out there that they've got startups or they're established and they're looking to take it to the next level with investors.
Sure. So, yeah, it's kind of that classic saying of ask for advice, get money, ask for money, get advice. I really started by just educating people, high net worth, successful people I had known or friends of the family or I'd come across their path on what I was doing and why it was exciting. And then it wasn't at that point that I asked them for money. I then said, okay, I'm going to go generate a lot of pre-orders, and then I'm going to come back to those people and say, hey, you remember that idea I had? Well, I just sold a bunch of it, in pre-orders, and I need X amount of money to take this to the next level. So I knew I didn't want to just go ask for money with nothing to show for it. So that's why I did a Kickstarter and an Indiegogo. And between those two, sold about $90,000 worth of product. And then at that point, I had a firm toehold to reach back out to people and say, look, I'm not crazy. 2,000 people have validated this idea. The market wants this. And, raising money, frankly, was not that difficult at that point. Not nearly as difficult as it would have been had I started by asking for money.
Got it. Well, that's amazing. I mean, yeah, absolutely. What you're doing is absolutely phenomenal. And again, you're listening to me, David Kogan, host of the Eliances Hero Show. Make sure you go to Eliances.com. That's ELIANCES.com. It is the only place where entrepreneurs align. And we've got Will Nitze. He is the founder and CEO of IQBar. You can reach him at IQBar.com. And of course, we'll have it on our website again, ELIANCES.com. All right, so Will, so you've got this, you've done the Kickstarter, the Indiegogo. The next biggest and most, again, it's like I said previously, almost winning the lottery, being able to get it into a store, having somebody else have it in their actual store, and you're in over 6,000 locations now. How do you break down that barrier?
It's a good question, and I'm still trying to figure out what is our best brick and mortar strategy, because we were, not only do I have no background in that, but we were born online in e-commerce, an e-commerce first brand, and we almost stumbled into brick and mortar because we connected with CVS, and we did a pilot with them because they were interested in our brain functionality, and we did quite well in the pilot, and before we knew it, 6 months into selling our first order, we were in 4,000 CVSs. So we had to grow up quite quickly at that point. But it definitely does snowball. The first customer is the hardest to get, and then the second's a little easier, the third's a little easier. Our big kind of foray into grocery at this moment is going into 1,000 Krogers, which we just did. And that's a whole other beast, that managing that is very different from managing CVS, which is very different from managing, food service accounts like offices. And so it gets daunting. But what I will say is it certainly helps in terms of getting your foot in the door. It really helps to have a novel pitch or positioning. So I think the brain angle and the ultra low carb, low sugar angle, especially in conjunction, was not a pitch that buyers or category managers had heard. They hear about 50 things that are a granola bar that are just tasty a day. They've never really heard a pitch for a cognitive product like that in that form factor. So novelty certainly helps.
What kind of secrets would you share, though, with students that are out there? They're going through school, maybe some of them even going at Harvard University, right, where you went when you got your undergrad. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, which in itself is huge. And psychology and neuroscience, holy cow. I mean, my God. What would you give, though, to students in high school, let's say, that are, getting ready to graduate and, they're looking to do their own thing and make their mark? Right, and maybe even within various industries, food industry or whatever, but just in fact, like you've done and done so well, raising money, getting into stores and so on. What are some of the secrets you would share?
I would say start as early as possible and tirelessly test things that you think you might be interested in, because I took a job out of college that I hated, and it was great, though, because I learned what I didn't want to do, and I saw the other side. And so, it makes being my own boss and doing my own thing so much better. But I wish I had that experience early. Like, the earlier, the better, because you are going to fail probably your first and second time. I would say that you pick something that you can do all day long, 7 days a week. I mean, that's just critical. Pick something that you can own tip to tail. So, one thing I never wanted to do was create an app or a website that I couldn't code, for example, and then I'm having to outsource the technical team, but I don't really know how to evaluate them because I don't have that skill. But pick something that you can fully conceptualize and own and understand. Because otherwise you have no way of measuring how something's being built, how it's performing, et cetera. So for me, that was food. But, again, and the earlier you start, the earlier you can develop the skills that will help you understand the totality of this space or product or service that you're going into. So and again, I can't harp on this enough. Make sure you can do it all day, every day, because it's truly the delta between doing something you love and you hate you really have to experience both of those polar ends of the spectrum to understand it. But you got to like what you're doing.
Fantastic. Well, all day, every day, that's what you should be doing and listening to the Eliances Hero Show. Well, Will, you created a revolutionary product to help aid in brain function and energy. You got to get this. Try it. EatIQBar.com. That's a hero. Will Nitze. This has been David Kogan with Eliances.